Welcome back, everybody, to Caravan of Garbage, where we're doing 2 Ninja Turtles movies, which came out not that long ago.
Within recent memory, if you can imagine such a thing. I know all our memories have been destroyed by the last few years.
Sure, yeah.
So maybe these come out a decade ago?
Well, this was 2016, the year of Batman v Superman.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, if anything's going to obliterate your memory, it's that, isn't it? What else was there in the year 2016?
Great point.
Hypercolor t-shirts, slapper bands.
Rogue One.
All
of those things. Yeah. Leave a like if you could, because we are talking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which I believe would have been my favorite movie if I was 8 years old.
And at the time you were...
I don't know, 48.
Yeah, okay. So less enthused about this one.
Look, it's got a turtle van that shoots manhole covers and it swings nunchucks for 14 seconds. Bebop and Rocksteady are in it. Krang is in it.
Yeah.
A big, weird, hollow Technodrome is in it.
Yeah.
Where's all the rooms in the Technodrome, Mason?
Well, you get tenants and they fill in the rooms themselves.
Okay.
You know? They set up those Japanese apartment walls, like the thin ones. They put those in. And
Yep.
Then you set it up how you like.
That's a great point.
You know? Don't put anything on the walls though.
No.
Not allowed to put up any posters or paintings or anything.
I think it's definitely a better movie than the last one.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one.
I still don't think it's great. I don't think the nostalgia elements of it are enough for me. But there are some things in this that go beyond that, like they build a relationship with the turtles, and there's conflict between them, and they have
the basic tenets of storytelling. They manage to sneak them in.
They have feelings and they want things.
That's right. And they're less annoying.
They are less annoying.
They've been growing up, a little bit of growing up.
Yeah, it's a year after the last.
Oh, they've had a year of growing up.
That's right. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I feel like, though, I know the reason why they're all fighting. I don't think it's about wanting to be human or wanting to be accepted, or, they're not working together as a team because they're all so different. I think it's because they're hungry all the time. Because they ordered a pizza in this to watch the basketball. One pizza between 4 giant freaks.
Just 4 enormous furnaces. Just 4 giant calorie furnaces. Yeah, one pizza, absolutely. And Mikey dropped one of his on the floor or whatever.
Yeah. He screwed up the big basketball game.
That's right.
Yeah.
That presumably real famous basketball player slipped over and he was like, ow, I fell on my bottom.
That's right. God, embarrassing.
But you're right. The central conflict isn't really we don't work together as a team, because this movie is just a series of scenes where they do work together as a team and then they slip up right at the end. And then Leonardo's like, we don't even work together as a team.
Yeah.
We're better being a team.
We didn't fall out of that plane to catch on to the other plane and then fight a tank in a river well enough. Yeah, well, that's hard. All right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people could do that.
Yeah, that's actually... the fact that you got 98% of the way there is actually pretty impressive. Ease up, Leonardo, is what I'm saying.
I agree. How do you feel about Shredder in this? Bearing in mind that he immediately grew a head of hair and a beard. And also, I don't know whether the fight at the end of the last movie, did that heal him? Because he's got less scars after he fell out of that fucking building than he did before he fell out of the building.
That's a great point. Can we blame mutagen?
Yeah, we can blame mutagen.
I think so, yeah. He probably fell in a face full of mutagen.
He probably did.
There's probably so much mutagen in the New York wastewater. You can just dunk your face and it's, it's like spending an afternoon at Sephora.
It might just be. I think they've also gone way too far the other way with Shredder.
Do you think they did a Sephora
commercial?
Ninja Turtles collaboration?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Are those the crystal, jewelry things?
Yeah, man.
Or am I thinking of Swarovski diamond
You
stuff?
are thinking of that, yes.
It's not diamond, it's glass? Crystal? I don't know what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you just said then, you are correct, yes.
I feel like, though, with Shredder, they over-designed him in the last movie, and he's too big and weird and covered in spikes.
And so now they've under-designed him?
Yeah, he's in like a leather motorcycle suit and a helmet. He doesn't even really fight anybody in this.
There's not even a hint of purple to the suit, you know what I mean?
Disappointing.
Which is interesting, because there are so many nods to the classic 1980s cartoon.
Name one, other than the several we've already talked about.
Vern.
Yeah, Vern, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a good one.
Vern the Falcon. But they didn't go, give him a purple suit.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like that actor.
Yeah.
I think that's a good use of the Shredder. And I also appreciate that the Foot Clan here aren't just guys with guns. They're Snake Eyes guys.
Oh, yes,
Like a bunch of snake guys.
That's absolutely right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a question, though. Are they any better at fighting in this one than the last one?
Well, there's those two that break out of the police district and they give them a bit of a runabout.
That's true, yeah.
But against the Ninja Turtles, probably not.
No, that's true.
They'd be killed.
And there's that guy that Vern just slams into a shipping container. His head falls off or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're not great.
No.
I don't know where he's recruiting these guys.
No, well, they're teenagers.
Yeah, I guess. And they're probably also learning ninjutsu from the same book that Splinter learned ninjutsu from. And they don't have his dedication, so...
No, quite frankly. You're right, yeah. So here's another addition, Mason, from the original stuff. Baxter Stockman, as played by Tyler Perry. Now, I never knew this, but this movie actually tells us the difference between a nerd and a geek.
Oh, I see.
So, like...
You've got to look like you've written it down and you're going to tell us what it is.
Maybe I have. Maybe I've just memorized this movie I barely remember. So it's the difference between Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or TED Talks and Comic-Con. I fucking hate that. Just that we get geek culture. We know nerds. We understand there's differences.
Also, isn't a geek like a bearded lady in a circus or whatever? Isn't that the origin of the term geek?
Is it?
I think so. Just weird freaks in a circus, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well then, yeah.
Yeah.
Then they're right, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate that kind of stuff. But, you know, Baxter Stockman is a good inclusion, I guess. Tyler Perry just doing a weird performance.
Yeah.
Got
and
weird
you know,
laugh.
You know he's there because he wants to be there because he probably made so much money off like his Medea
Oh.
character that he's just doing weird stuff because he, you know.
Tyler Perry might be a billionaire.
He might be a billionaire.
It's very possible.
Yeah. But I'll tell you a great addition. I love Bebop and Rocksteady in this. They have a great supportive friendship.
Yep.
And it's hashtag friend goals as far as I'm concerned.
I completely agree. They nail those characters completely. And they also make them formidable.
Yes.
Because in the original cartoon, and in other versions, you know, not as much, one time they caved in Donatello's head with like a sledgehammer. That happened or whatever. But their strength kind of gets them through in battles. You know, they can be stupid, but they love each other and they're having a good time.
That's true. That's lovely. When they are mixed up in that, you know, that whole skydiving from a plane to another plane and then the plane crashes and then they're falling in a river or whatever.
Yeah.
While the turtles, they're like, well, we didn't do enough teamwork. They're like, bro, we nailed this.
Yeah.
We nailed falling out of a plane. We nailed falling off the side of a waterfall or whatever. This is great.
I completely agree.
What a time we've had.
What a time we've had. But an addition I don't think they nailed here was Casey Jones.
Oh, yes.
It's just Stephen Amell.
Sure
And
is.
I like Stephen Amell. I think he's terrific. He's a great Arrow. He's a great another thing that he's in.
CW Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover.
Yes, he is.
Where he's the Spectre.
Yeah, that's a great example.
I think so.
I feel like here he's too clean and he's also too old. So I feel like you either got to go older and grubbier.
Oh, yep.
Like Elias Koteas from the original movie, or you go like a teen.
Okay, yeah.
And it's just a cop who's like, I'm going to be a detective. I want to be a detective. Dude, you're 38.
Oh, you think that's too late?
You could be a detective.
Wow. You're saying George Clooney got his first hit at like about the same age, and you're saying this guy couldn't become a detective at 38?
No, I'm saying that like that's a very realistic goal, and you don't have to sook about it.
Oh yeah, that's
Just
right.
like he's talking about it like one day when I'm big. It's like you are big. You're a man.
You're a big man. Have you seen yourself do those chin ups? In Arrow, you see, so you can do, hardly anybody can do that. What I loved about this character is he's there when Shredder is broken out of the prison motorcade by the Foot Clan, and then he's being interviewed by the police superintendent played by Laura Linney. And she's like, okay, so you're saying there were ninjas on motorcycles? And he's like, yep. She's like, okay, go on. And he's like, and then there was a garbage truck? And she's like, oh, excuse me? A garbage truck in New York City was somehow there at the time.
You're right. He wasn't even like, it had nunchucks.
And there were big mutant turtles in it. He just says there was a garbage truck. She's like, I think we're going to put your detective exam on hold, young man. Little boy.
And what's crazy about that is, like, he gets taken off the payroll. And she's like, you did a bad job. He was the only one there who did anything. Everybody else, like all the
other men got blown up.
Yeah. Are they taken off the payroll? I think their families shouldn't get pensions, Mason.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They weren't doing their job. The other guy in the car, in
Yeah.
the van, did he die? What happened to him?
That's a great question. And how many of the people in this movie as like supporting actors or bystanders are Ninja Turtles creators.
Yeah, great.
Kevin Eastman is in this for a second. I think he's the
he
pizza
the pizza guy? Yeah.
He's the pizza guy. It's interesting that like
Whenever you see a normal looking man, you're like, that's an artist or a creator.
Hollywood is too entrenched in every supporting character being played by like the most beautiful, handsome person in the world with incredible abs.
Yeah.
Just seeing this movie where there's just some people with a bit of a paunch or a bald spot, I'm like, that guy must be a comic book writer. No human being in Hollywood will look like that.
Who let this real world person in this movie? Yuck.
Anyway, Eastman's in this. I don't know if maybe Laird was in the last one. I don't know.
You might be right. Or vice versa. Who
I don't
knows? Yeah, it's not important. But it's pretty cool at the end when he's fighting Bebop and Rocksteady and he improvs a set of rollerblades and a hockey stick.
That's right.
But it's like, dude, you're Casey Jones. You should have this stuff.
Right?
Like, what is this?
Traditionally, we'd have him on. He'd have a big golf bag on his back. You know?
But it's just a guy in a hoodie and a t-shirt and jeans. Like this, come on.
It is fascinating. That was maybe one of my favorite parts where he was just looking through some rubble and he just found just an L-shaped piece of metal that would work perfectly as a hockey stick. I think that was great.
My favorite part was where he duct taped some wheels from a roller chair on the bottom of his shoes.
I thought he opened a box and there was just like a series of half rollerblades in there. We're going to transport these half rollerblades. We're going to get them into the city and connect them with the other half of the rollerblades.
Absolutely. Well, a big part of this, though, is getting pieces together because they're collecting pieces of the teleportation device.
Ah, yes. The plot.
That's right. The plot is here, everybody. Everybody wave.
There it is.
Mason, you're not waving.
Oh, hi, the plot. You're not really relevant, but it's nice to see you. It's never relevant anymore.
So, one of the pieces is in a museum in a big alien rock.
Yeah.
With a big switch on the side.
Yeah.
That nobody has ever pressed.
Nobody's thought to push the switch. Maybe it requires a certain finesse.
Okay.
They, these museum creators, they're all just smashing on a thing.
Yeah.
They're all just smashing on a button. You're like, settle down, museum creators.
That's right.
Give it a little...
You're too bombastic.
That's right. Give it a little soft touch like that. Oh, it's opened up now. There's a scepter or something in there or whatever.
Yeah, just listen for the soft, wet click.
That's right.
Of this glowing rock. Yeah. I mean, Krang's in this.
Yeah.
And he's very Brad Garrett and he's very wet.
Absolutely.
Some real good wet CGI on this guy.
Traditionally, when you think of Brad Garrett, you think of a very dry surface area, don't you? But they've moistened him up.
Maybe not the hair.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, you're right.
They've moistened him right up,
It's the wettest he's ever been.
To the point of absurdity, I think.
I feel like they had to make Krang massively oversized just in himself because the turtles are so big.
Yes.
Because he's normally like the size of like an ice cream container.
Absolutely.
But here.
That's right. For taking him to school as part of show and tell. Yeah, brought a Krang. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Well, he's not cool. He's pretty rude. But he is from Dimension X.
You brought him last week. Boo. Bring something else. Boo.
Bring one of his rock generals. General Thrag. But that's fun, I guess, And
yeah. I guess I wish the robot suit he is in was like more fleshy for whatever.
Okay.
More
like the
cartoon.
I wish that he had more interactions with Shredder because some of my favorite stuff in that original cartoon is just them bumbling about.
Yeah, I kind of liked their dynamic in this.
Yeah.
That Shredder's being teleported away, he assumes to safety, and then he's just on Krang's ship, and Krang's like, "Wah!" And Shredder's like, oh, and Krang's like, "Wah!"
I'm touching you, I'm gonna lick you.
Right?
What do you think?
You'll be as wet as I am.
Oh, don't. Stop.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And that could have developed into something.
That could have been the whole movie.
Could have been the entire movie. Let's get drive-through. Oh, just them doing stuff, just having a day together. But and it could have developed into something, but then Shredder just gets frozen and put in a trophy case or whatever.
Yep, that's right.
I guess with the assumption there'd be a Ninja Turtles 3 in this and they'd be back as a team, probably.
You're right. And we will talk about that, Mason. Let's also talk about acceptance.
Okay.
Because the Turtles, they're trying to accept themselves and have everybody else accept them.
Be more like Bebop and Rocksteady.
Exactly.
Be accepting.
Be like, I'm fat and I'm gross.
Yeah.
And I love this.
That's right.
It's cool. So there's a moment where all the police pull their guns on them. They're like, freeze. And the Turtle's like, oh no. Have you forgotten your bulletproof? That happened.
Just turn around.
Yeah.
You
don't have to turn around.
Yeah, you might be bulletproof on the front as
no,
well.
they are.
Oh, they are. Okay,
they definitely
great.
are, yeah.
Right.
That's absolutely fine. But I tell you this, there was a moment when I felt a genuine emotion in this movie.
Whoa.
And that's never happened to me before, ever.
Are you sure it wasn't a fart building up? Because you'd been sitting for too long.
So there's a moment where they're like, oh, look at these monsters, look at these freaks. And you see Michelangelo and he's just really sad. And I'm like, that's really impressive.
And initially you thought, oh, maybe he's got a fart building up. But then you realized it was because he actually was sad.
Yeah, that's right. He also may have had a fart building up.
Might have. You can have two emotions at once.
Yeah, but like the design of that and the eyes and just the look on his face.
The texturing of the turtles is way better in this.
The coloring's better as well. They brighten them up just a little bit.
There's less kibble. There's still probably too much kibble.
There's still kibbling, but yeah. And I think also you get more emotion out of them in this. And I realize what I don't like about Splinter in this.
Okay.
He's got black eyes.
Oh.
And it's just like, no, I can't read his emotions, and he's a big rat.
He is a big rat.
So like, I don't want to just get that away from me.
Yeah.
Weird, long, fleshy tail.
See, I think they absolutely minimized it in this movie. I think they were like, people are not responding well to the big wet rat. So they want a big wet brain.
He's not in it much, is he? The wet rat. But yeah.
Mm.
Man, I tell you what though, brave of this movie to have an ending where a portal opens in the sky above New York a mere 4 years after the Avengers did it.
Absolutely.
God.
And it's blue.
And it's blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think also you end it with the turtles up in a really high place above New York fighting a bad guy in a mech suit. It's like, I recall this because it happened in the previous movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it could have come up from the Earth. The Technodrome's often in the Earth.
Sometimes it's in the earth.
It comes up and it goes, I got a big eye on me.
That's right.
You know?
It'd come up and like all the, displace all the pizza places. They'd be like, hey, trying to make a living here.
Forget about it.
You know?
Should we do some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out of the trivia shadows?
Yes.
Should we do it now?
Oh, let's do it now. Yeah.
Should we wave?
At the trivia?
Yeah.
Trivia's here all the time.
Yeah, you're right. I think you take trivia for granted, Mason.
Oh, yes.
It's not always going to be here.
It's always going to be.
1 week I might forget,
Okay.
but not this week.
No.
So Alan Richson, who we talked about last week, who voices and is the body and mocap of Raphael, and we got into how it was a very unhappy experience making the first movie. He had to come back and do this one because he was bound to the contract.
I see.
So that's good. So again, paid very little, awful conditions.
Great.
But at least he didn't have to do a third one.
That's true, but I reckon he did a bang up job.
He did.
You wouldn't listen to those line readings and go, this guy didn't want to be here.
Yeah, I
mean,
completely
he didn't.
agree.
He absolutely didn't.
And how's about this? Pete Plozek, he provided now the motion capture and voice for Leonardo after Johnny Knoxville wasn't asked to return for unknown reasons. I think he's a really good Leonardo in this.
I agree.
I think that voice suits the character better. And I don't know whether it is the pairing of the mocap with the voice, but this to me feels more like a leader Leonardo than the previous one.
They probably didn't ask Johnny Knoxville back because he read the script and he's like, oh, so I get to jump out of a plane onto another plane and then I crash the plane and then I send it down the side of a waterfall. Let's go. And they're like, no, Johnny, please, no.
Jonathan
Knoxonville, if you wouldn't mind.
The producer tried to get cameo roles from TMNT 1990 actors, including Elias Koteas, who was, of course, a former Casey Jones, and Sam Rockwell as a Foot Clan member.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because he's one of the teens.
A very young Sam Rockwell. However, both of them declined to appear. Sam Rockwell would be a good Baxter Stockman.
Agreed.
But, whatever.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah, they made it already.
Yeah.
And what about this? When Krang puts Shredder's frozen body in the lower levels of the Technodrome, on his left and right are frozen alien beings from the TMNT saga.
Oh.
We've got a Triceratops-like alien known as a Triceraton, and also a neutrino on the other side. And you recognize some of those, maybe.
I do recognize at least one of those.
Do you recognize the idea that this studio wanted to make a third movie? Do you recognize that?
I would be willing to recognize that in a court of law, yes.
Great, good.
Which this is?
Yes,
These
it
are all
is.
in a court. We record all these in a court of law.
Correct.
Yeah.
We got to get them right by law.
That's right.
So all of the actors in these movies, the Turtles, Megan Fox, Will Arnett, all of that, they were signed on for 3 movies.
Okay.
And Tyler Perry even said in an interview that he would probably turn into a fly during that third movie.
Nice.
Presumably within the movie.
Okay, not just as a trick to entertain the cast and crew behind the scenes.
That's right.
I'm going to do it, guys.
Oh, wait, it was just a fart. But the box office for this, on a budget of $135 million, which I think, this gets a lot of bang for its buck, it came away with $245.6 million, which is a massive decrease on the previous one.
Yeah, and that sounds like more, but when you factor in marketing costs, as we do, broke even maybe?
Maybe. Maybe. Probably not, though. So producer Andrew Form, he spoke to Collider at the time, and he said, "We were obviously surprised at the box office results." In a bad way, though, Mason. We loved the movie. We loved making the movie. From our first Super Bowl teaser to everything we launched, we felt so good about our material, and for some reason, it did not find the audience that the first movie found. And we talked about it at the time, and we tried to figure it out, but we cannot put our finger on what happened. We really can't. Was this just the wrong time? Look, it's not great also. It wasn't received super well. Again, it's better than the first one. Was this just an era where Marvel and DC were dominating? Do you think that was a factor?
Could be. But I mean, it also just might be, we have fond memories of the cartoon. And this has lots of nods to that.
Yeah.
But little kids don't.
No.
And that's the would be the primary audience for this, right? They'd be like, oh, there's a big brain guy.
Yuck.
Yeah, yuck. Oh, there's a weird rat with black eyes. Yuck. I hated that last time, and I was afraid. And I had nightmares. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this feels... I had fun with this one, but I feel like a lot of it is nostalgia bait for people who aren't seeing these kind of movies anymore, really.
Yeah.
So
you're not wrong. Wow.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What?
One of my favorite Ninja Turtles movies is the best one from 1990.
Oh, yes.
Did you know? Listen to this.
Okay.
You might know this.
I might.
That me and you have done a movie commentary on top of that movie.
That's right.
And that is available at bigsandwich.co, where we've got dozens of movie commentaries up there.
That's right.
Plus, these videos go up there early every week, don't they, Mason?
Yes, they do, and I love that.
And here's a hint towards next week's episode, by the way.
My God, it's the cancelled Ninja Turtles 3. We made it. We had it. We spent $200 million on it.
And we were right to do it.
That's right.
And in addition to that, we've got video game Let's Plays.
That's right.
We played the Ninja Turtle Arcade on there. When I say on there, this is all at bigsandwich.co, which is like our private Patreon service, where all the things mentioned. It's all paywalled, isn't it, Mason?
People love paywalls.
You have to pay some money.
Some money, but it's not a lot of money.
It's $9 a month.
You can just pay the one.
You pay once and
just
download everything and
everything
and just bounce.
Yeah, yeah,
that's fine.
Like an absolute legend. An absolute legend who's given us $9 of their money. I can't get it back.
Or maybe you're interested in our podcast, The Weekly Planet, where we're talking movies and comics and TV shows. It's got its own YouTube channel, Spotify. It's everywhere as well.
TikTok?
It's on TikTok, yes.
We're on TikTok
there's
somehow.
There's a Weekly Planet Clips channel.
We're people who remember the original Ninja Turtles cartoon, and we're also on TikTok.
That's right.
Can you imagine? What an era.
I don't run it, but I can imagine it, Mason.
That's right.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
I thought I had another thought about Casey Jones. How much of a loser he is.
He needs long hair?
No. I'll think of it. We can add it later.
We'll add it.
We'll add it later.
Tell me just as I'm about to put this out.
Okay, great.
And I'll quickly put it in.